Central, only by Bravo.
All right, joining us now, David Goodfriend, with an ode of his own sort to his home state, Wisconsin. Hi, David.
Hey, Dylan, I have a confession to make. I didn't come here to my hometown of Madison, Wisconsin for the historic recall election today. I came home for my 25th high school reunion. I wanted to see if the other guys lost as much hair as I have.
He's going to want to hear
So here's what I
that.
learned over tap beer and brats. First of all, I'm just about average in the Madison West High School hair loss department, so that's the good news. But the bad news is that the administration of Governor Scott Walker and his Republican allies have done more to divide my home state than anything in my lifetime. My high school buddies and I, hailing from many different political persuasions, agree. It makes perfect sense that Wisconsin would turn out to be ground zero for the battle for America's future going into this presidential election. I mean, Wisconsin always has been a closely divided state politically, with leaders of conservatism and progressivism emerging here. To conservatives, this is the home of Red Scare leader Joe McCarthy, welfare reformer Tommy Thompson, and budget cutter Paul Ryan. To progressives, Wisconsin is the home of fighting Bob LaFollette, who took on big business and fought for a livable wage, or Earth Day founder Gaylord Nelson, or campaign finance crusader Russ Feingold. Two very different traditions living side by side for decades. My high school friends and I, to this day, can have friendly debates between the Thompson Republicans and the LaFollette progressives. That's how it used to be, but not anymore. Governor Scott Walker, by aligning himself with out-of-state wealthy conservative zealots like the Koch brothers and Citizen for a Strong America, has turned this quiet state into a political war zone. The other side is not blameless, taking lots of union money from Washington to fuel their side of the debate. But this election today broke all funding records, with the vast majority of the over $30 million campaign dollars coming from outside groups. Just imagine if that money had been spent on schools like my old high school here. To the Koch Walker crowd, destruction and division are the goal, not something to be avoided. Recently, it was discovered that the Walker administration sought to cut the number of driver's license offices in Democratic neighborhoods and then increase them in Republican neighborhoods. A totally transparent attempt to reduce Democratic voter registration. This was after Republican legislators in that building behind me forced vote after vote without allowing full debate or sufficient public input. We are talking slimy, sleazy, paranoid, anti-democracy, anti-American tactics pitting neighbor against neighbor, all sponsored by out-of-state interests that don't care about this community. That's what Walker and his cronies brought here, and that's what Wisconsin now wants to stop. That's what America wants to stop before the destroy and divide crowd drives our country off a cliff. You know, after my high school reunion, I have hope. If a bunch of balding cheeseheads from different political persuasions still can hoist a brew in honor of Bucky Badger, well, there's hope for this state and this country after all, to forge its way around the wreckage of the Walker Republicans and their big money union agitators. Dylan?
So I guess my only question is, if all those Democrats and Republicans were all bought off by the Koch brothers, would the Democrats be any better? In other words, we've got this. Your narrative suggests that it's the Republicans' fault when on a national level, it was actually the Democrats who unleashed bank trade and tax extraction on the American people because they're all relying on the same people for money.
Look, Dylan, I'd love to tell you that everybody's equally at fault, but that's not the case. I know where the bomb throwing started. It was on the right.
Got it. Listen, and I know who funded the bank and tax and trade deregulation, and it was on the left. I'll talk to you next time. I am Dylan Ratigan, and the right's just as bad, so this whole stupid back and forth has got to end. With that said, Hardball and Chris Matthews starts right now.